Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
It's great to be back.
You know, you guys sent us some excerpts from Stephen King's Under the Dome.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, this one
I know.
is a real page-turner.
It's intense.
So we're going to take a deep dive into this small town called Chester's Mill
Okay.
that gets suddenly trapped under this mysterious dome.
Right.
And we're going to kind of explore the key events, how these characters change,
Yeah.
the intense power dynamics that unfold.
Uh-huh.
Get ready for some chills.
I am excited to unpack this one with you.
Me too.
King really throws you right into the action.
He does.
And it's so fascinating is how he balances the sheer terror of the situation with these incredibly nuanced character reactions.
I mean, the dome just drops.
Boom.
Out of nowhere, planes crash, birds are falling from the sky. It's total chaos.
Yes.
What would you even do
I know.
in that situation?
Well, you're right. The initial chaos is pretty gripping. But what King does so brilliantly is he immediately focuses on the human element.
Okay.
Some people panic, of course.
Right.
But others see it as an opportunity.
Oh, interesting.
You see this really interesting dynamic between Dale, Barbara, who everyone calls Barbie, he's ex-military, kind of an outsider,
Right.
and Big Jim Rennie, the second selectman.
Yeah, Barbie seems like he's going to be a key player.
Yeah.
And Big Jim, well, he's already giving me the creeps.
Yeah.
Even before the dome, he's clearly a master manipulator.
He is.
Always working angles.
Oh, yeah.
And now with the town cut off, he's got everyone right where he wants them.
Exactly. It's like King is setting up this classic struggle between good and evil,
Okay.
but with this inescapable dome as the backdrop.
I like that.
Big Jim sees the dome as his chance to grab the reins.
Oh, wow.
He takes control of resources, the radio station,
Yeah.
you name it. It's almost like watching a dictator rise right before your eyes.
That's scary.
Has anyone ever pulled a power move like that on you?
Luckily, not to this extent.
Okay.
But I've definitely seen how people try to use fear and charisma to manipulate others.
Yeah.
Especially in times of crisis.
Right.
It makes you realize how easily we could be swayed when we're feeling vulnerable.
And that vulnerability is exactly what Big Jim preys on.
Gosh.
He knows how to push people's buttons, how to turn them against each other.
Yeah.
And then there's his son, Junior Rennie.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a powder keg.
Right.
He's mentally unstable, volatile.
Yeah.
His actions add a whole other layer of darkness to the story.
You're telling me the scene where Junior murders Angie McCain and Dodie Sanders
I know.
was absolutely chilling?
It's brutal.
King doesn't shy away from the brutality.
No, he doesn't.
And it really sets the tone for what's to come. It makes you realize that the danger isn't just coming from outside the dome.
Right.
It's brewing within the town itself.
King really explores how this kind of pressure cooker environment can bring out the worst in people. And Junior's tragic end is a classic example of how power corrupts.
Oh, for sure.
Even those closest to the source, like Junior, become pawns in the game.
It's sad.
I know you pointed out the shamrock symbol.
Yes.
It's fascinating how King uses it to suggest a force beyond human understanding is at play.
It's very mysterious.
It makes you question, does the dome represent our own self-imposed limitations?
Okay.
Or is it something more sinister?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good question.
It's true. The shamrock keeps popping up.
Yeah.
And it definitely feels like a clue.
I think so, too.
But even beyond that, the dome itself is more than just a physical barrier.
Right.
The way King describes it with the pink stars and the distorted sunset, it's almost like another character.
Yeah.
A force that's warping reality itself.
Right. And you even see the military led by Colonel Cox.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what it is and how to break it. But their attempts just bounce off.
Literally.
Yeah.
Wow.
It creates this incredible sense of claustrophobia.
Oh, yeah. Like there's no escape.
I can't even imagine.
But remember, this is Stephen King we're talking about.
Right.
So things are about to get a whole lot more complicated.
Oh, I'm sure they are. We've got power struggles, a mysterious dome,
Yeah,
and some seriously unsettling characters.
definitely.
I can't wait to see where King takes us next.
Let's dive into the next part of your excerpts
Right.
and explore how this pressure cooker environment really starts to impact the people of Chester's Mill.
Let's do it.
All right. So we've established there's this overwhelming sense of dread in Chester's Mill.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is how it affects everyone differently.
Right.
You mentioned the solidarity armbands.
Yes.
It seems some are choosing to resist Big Jim's control.
Interesting.
What do you make of that?
It's like even in this crazy trapped situation, they're still holding on to hope.
Right.
They're not giving in to the fear, which is pretty amazing, I think.
Yeah.
Julia Shumway, the newspaper editor,
Oh, yeah.
she's a great example.
She's not afraid to stand up to Big Jim and speak truth to power.
Mm-hmm.
She even teams up with Barbie to try and expose what he's really up to.
That's a great point.
You know.
Julia embodies that spirit of resilience that King often explores in his characters.
Yeah.
She's this voice of reason amidst the chaos.
Yeah.
Someone who refuses to let Big Jim control the narrative.
I like her.
You can't help but root for her.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Big Jim is terrifying.
He is.
And it's not just the physical violence he's capable of.
Right.
He uses these psychological tactics, too.
Oh, yeah.
Turning people against each other. Playing on their fears.
Oh, yeah.
It's like watching a masterclass in how to control a population.
Absolutely.
It's scary.
King really understands how power dynamics work.
Yeah.
And how someone like Big Jim can exploit a crisis to their advantage.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, wouldn't any of us be susceptible to that kind of manipulation in the right circumstances?
Oh, totally.
Think about that time when...
Like, remember that time when everyone panicked over that fake news article about the gas shortage?
Oh, yeah.
People were fighting at the pumps,
Oh, gosh.
hoarding gas, and it turned out to be a complete hoax.
I know.
It just shows how easily we can get swept up in fear and misinformation.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's exactly the kind of environment Big Jim thrives in.
Yeah.
He feeds on the chaos and he uses it to tighten his grip on the town.
Yeah.
But thankfully, there are people like Julia and Barbie who are trying to fight back. They're trying to uncover the truth to find a way to break the dome.
Yeah. Hopefully they can figure it out.
I know you were really intrigued by this strange object they found at the old McCoy place.
It's so bizarre.
It is.
This pulsing light,
Yeah.
the radiation emanating from it, and then that shamrock symbol.
Oh, yeah.
It's like King is throwing us a curveball.
He is.
Hinting at something beyond a simple scientific explanation.
Right. It's like, what is going on?
Do you think it's connected to that weird weather stuff going on inside the dome, too? That's a great question.
You know.
It certainly seems possible. And remember, Joe McClatchy,
Oh, yeah.
that young boy with the Geiger counter,
Mm-hmm.
his discovery on Black Ridge was what led them to the McCoy place in the first place.
Right.
He picked up that strong radiation signature there,
Yeah.
which seems to be connected to the dome somehow.
Right. And that's where the radiation levels were through the roof.
It's crazy.
Like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It is wild.
So we've got this bizarre object emitting radiation,
Yeah.
strange weather patterns inside the dome,
Uh-huh.
and this recurring shamrock symbol.
Oh, yeah.
It's like King is weaving all these mysterious elements together,
He is.
and you just know it's going to lead to something big.
It's like he's building this intricate puzzle.
Yeah.
And we're just starting to see the pieces come together.
Yeah.
But even with these clues, the dome remains this giant question mark.
Yeah. And the tension just keeps ratcheting up with every new discovery.
Ugh, the suspense.
Then the military announces Visitors' Day,
Right.
this chance for people to see their loved ones through the dome.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
It seemed like a glimmer of hope in this otherwise bleak situation.
Yeah.
But, you know, even that gets twisted by Big Jim.
Of course.
He turns it into this propaganda opportunity,
Oh, wow.
using it to solidify his control over the town.
Mm-hmm.
And the climax of that town meeting,
Oh, yeah.
it's just heartbreaking.
It's devastating.
It really is.
Big Jim, right in front of everyone, blames Barbie for the dome.
Ugh, I hate him.
The ensuing riot, the violence, the deaths.
It's awful.
It's a turning point in the story.
Yeah.
And it all happens right in front of the dome,
Wow.
with their loved ones watching helplessly from the other side.
I can't imagine.
How did that make you feel?
It was incredibly intense and emotional.
Yeah.
You see how easily fear and manipulation can tear a community apart? It's a stark reminder of how fragile our sense of order can be and how quickly things can spiral out of control.
It's scary to think about.
And then there's Junior's tragic downfall.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking.
It is.
In a moment of utter madness, manipulated by his own father,
Yeah.
he kills Jackie Weddington,
Oh, no.
one of the few good cops left in Chester's Mill.
Awful.
This leads to that final devastating confrontation with Barbie.
Yeah.
And ultimately to Junior's death.
It's so sad.
Such a tragic end for a character who was clearly troubled and manipulated.
Yeah, he never stood a chance.
And Big Jim's reaction, it's chilling.
Right.
He shows absolutely no remorse for his son's death.
Oh, wow.
All he cares about is maintaining his power.
Oh.
Even if it means sacrificing his own flesh and blood.
That's insane.
It's a horrifying realization.
Yeah.
Big Jim is not just power hungry, he's completely devoid of empathy.
It's scary.
He's a true monster.
Ugh.
But what's interesting is how King uses the dome as a metaphor for the walls we build around ourselves. Oh, okay.
Whether it's fear, prejudice, or blind loyalty, these barriers prevent us from seeing the truth and connecting with each other.
I see.
And under the dome, those barriers become impossible to ignore.
That's a good point.
Don't you think?
Absolutely. It's like King is saying that we all have the potential for both good and evil within us.
Uh-huh.
And in a crisis situation, those boundaries can become very blurred.
Right.
It's true.
But even in this incredibly dark situation, there are still those glimmers of hope.
It's true. Yeah.
You see characters like Rose Twitchell, the diner owner, continuing to do what's right, trying to help people, even when it puts her at risk.
Right.
Even Rusty Everett.
Oh, yeah.
The doctor who gets caught up in Big Jim's schemes.
Right.
You can see that he's struggling with his conscience, trying to find his way back to being a good man.
Right, yeah.
It's like they represent that enduring spirit of humanity.
Yeah.
That refusal to give up hope, even in the face of overwhelming darkness. That's really nice.
It's inspiring in a way, even amidst all the darkness.
It is.
But it's clear that things are about to come to a head in Chester's Mill.
Oh, boy.
We've got this escalating power struggle between Big Jim and those who oppose him, the mystery of the dome deepening with every new discovery, and this constant sense of impending doom hanging over everything.
It's stressful.
I'm dying to know what happens next.
Me too.
Well, let's not keep you in suspense any longer.
Okay.
In this final section of your excerpts,
we'll
delve into the climax of the story and uncover the shocking truth about the dome.
Oh, wow.
Get ready for some twists and turns.
I am ready. Okay, so we left off with Chester's Mill on the brink of collapse.
Right.
Big Jim's grip on the town is tightening. The dome is still an enigma.
Yeah.
Everyone's just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
I know.
What happens next?
Well, you pointed out earlier that the military was trying everything to break the dome.
Yeah.
Remember the HY-908? That specialized acid they brought in?
Oh, yeah.
It was like their last-ditch effort, a beacon of hope in this increasingly desperate situation.
Right. And Big Jim sabotages the whole thing, doesn't he?
He does.
Steals the acid.
Yeah.
Manipulates Junior into helping him. Talk about a power move.
I know.
But a seriously messed up one.
It is.
It really shows how far he's willing to go to maintain control.
It's a chilling example of how power can corrupt even the most basic human decency.
It's true.
Big Jim is so obsessed with control that he's willing to sacrifice the well-being of the entire town, including his own son.
I know.
It makes you wonder, would you be able to hold onto your morals in a situation like that, where the lines between right and wrong become so blurred?
It's a tough question to answer, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, we all like to think we do the right thing.
Right.
But who knows how you'd react when you're trapped and desperate.
Yeah.
It's like that saying, desperate times call for desperate measures.
Exactly.
But in Big Jim's case, it's more like desperate times call for ruthless manipulation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just the manipulation.
Right.
The disappearance of the HY-908 raises even more questions about the dome itself.
Yeah.
It's like it just swallowed the acid up, vanished into thin air.
Wow.
It reinforces this idea that the dome isn't just some random object.
Right.
It's something far more complex, perhaps even intelligent.
Right. It's like the dome is fighting back.
Uh-huh.
Protecting itself.
Yeah.
And the people trapped inside are just pawns in this bigger game.
Right.
It's a pretty terrifying thought.
It is.
And it makes you wonder who or what is really in control here.
And just when you think the situation can't get any weirder,
oh, no.
The dome starts to change.
Uh-oh.
The pink stars become more intense.
Okay.
The weather goes haywire.
Oh, gosh.
It's like something is brewing.
Yeah.
Like the dome is reacting to the military's attempts to break it.
It's like poking a sleeping bear, right?
Exactly.
You hope it'll just go away, but instead it gets angry and lashes out.
Yeah.
And then boom.
Oh.
Out of nowhere, a plane crashes into the dome.
I know.
But it's not just any plane.
Right.
It's a military plane with that shamrock symbol on it.
Oh, my gosh.
Talk about a mind-blowing twist.
It's a pivotal moment in the story.
Yeah.
And that shamrock symbol just adds another layer of mystery and dread.
I know.
It ties back to that object they found at the McCoy place. And it suggests that there's a connection.
Yeah.
Some kind of external force at play.
It's like those aliens from War of the Worlds, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Watching us, studying us. It's creepy.
It is.
And it makes you question everything you thought you knew about the dome.
Right.
What if it's not a natural phenomenon?
Yeah.
But something deliberately placed there?
That's a great question.
Right.
And that's exactly what King reveals to us.
Okay.
It turns out the dome is like a terrarium, a giant experiment by these childlike alien beings.
No way.
They're watching the town.
Wow.
Manipulating events, almost like it's a game to them.
Wow.
It's a chilling commentary on our own voyeuristic tendencies.
Right.
Our fascination with reality TV and disaster footage.
It's like The Truman Show, but with a much darker twist.
Right.
It makes you think about how we consume entertainment.
Yeah.
How we often become desensitized to the suffering of others. It's a pretty unsettling thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It raises all sorts of questions about our own humanity and the choices we make.
For sure.
But even in this bleak scenario, King doesn't abandon hope entirely.
Yeah, this game.
Characters like Julia, Rusty, and Rose, they refuse to give in.
That's good.
They keep fighting for their survival, for their community, for their very humanity.
They represent that spark of resilience.
Yeah.
That refusal to be defeated, even when the odds are stacked against them.
Right.
It's inspiring in a way, even amidst all the darkness.
It is.
So what happens to them? What do they escape the dome?
Well, I don't want to spoil the ending for you,
Fair.
but I will say that King delivers a satisfying resolution that explores themes of justice, forgiveness, and the enduring power of the human spirit.
Okay.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope for a better tomorrow.
That's a great takeaway.
What stood out to you about all of this? What will you be thinking about?
Wow, I'm still processing everything.
I know.
It's incredible how King weaves together these suspenseful plot twists with thought-provoking social commentary.
He's a master.
Under the Dome is a wild ride, for sure.
It is.
It makes you think about the choices we make, the people we trust,
Right.
and how we respond to crisis.
Yeah.
It's a story that will definitely stay with me.
It's a powerful reminder that we're all connected.
Yeah,
And that even the smallest actions can have ripple effects.
that's true.
So as you reflect on this deep dive into Under the Dome, consider this. Have you ever felt trapped by circumstances? Maybe not by a physical dome,
Yeah.
but by societal pressures,
Wow.
expectations, or even your own fears. What would you do to break free?
Wow.
That's something to ponder as you continue exploring this incredible story.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive.
Of course, it was my pleasure.
You know, this book is intense.
It is.
It's dark.
Uh-huh.
It's really thought-provoking.
Absolutely.
And I think it's something that everyone should read.
I agree.
You guys know how to pick them, that's for sure.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So until next time, keep on reading, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.
Sounds good.